Hey everybody, happy Monday. Don't know how the feeling is where you are, but where we are in Sydney, I'm feeling that people are starting to come out of their houses, out of their lives a little bit, starting to plan what's ahead tentatively, because we all know the last year of planning has been to no avail. So we plan, knowing things can change. But I'm feeling that this is the vibe around the people I'm with lately. Tell me what you think. You feeling this? Hopefully you're all feeling a little bit of this hopeful, we may have a holiday soon vibe. We may be able to leave our city soon and go somewhere nice, even for the night, for the weekend. Yeah? How good is this song though? I'm really loving this opportunity to share all my favourite songs with all of you. It's a great thing for me. So thank you for giving me this op. So hopefully all of you are starting to plan something great, whatever it is. All right, let's get cooking. So today we're making Dutch spice biscuits, which come from, don't have it right here, our second book, The Feast Goes On. This recipe comes from my co-author Paula of Field to Fork fame, from her mum Sue, and these are such a great biscuit. Once you make it a couple times, it'll be a biscuit that you make with your eyes closed. You can always have a jar in the kitchen. They are just so lovely. Now the recipe came to us with a method by hand. I've been doing it in the electric mixer, in the stand mixer, but you know what, let's do it by hand today just because we're all together, and you know, what else have we got to do? We can take our time. So let's go through what we're going to need. Firstly, the oven's going to be on 140 degrees Celsius. If you've got a fan forced oven, you probably want to do it on 125. It's a very low oven, okay? So, you know, I always say that 180 is the temperature that we do everything at. 140 is a really slow oven, or low oven, and that's what we're cooking these biscuits on. They're going to cook for 40 minutes. You're going to need an oven tray, a baking tray lined with parchment, baking paper, or a silicone mat if you've got that. You're going to need a mixing bowl and all the ingredients, and a little jug to mix some of the liquid ingredients together. So into our mixing bowl we're going to put our flour, which is 225 grams, 1.5 cups of plain flour. And to that we're going to add our butter. Now the butter needs to be, I'm going to drive you mad with my butter, soft, squishy, room temperature. Okay, if it's hard, it's going to make these biscuits harder to make. They need to be at room temperature. I'm going to put those in. We're going to come back to this in a second. And we've got sugar, and we've got our spices. Check the ingredients list: mixed spice, cinnamon, and ground ginger. And we're going to put all of those together with the sugar. We've also got 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda or baking soda, 1 egg, and 2 teaspoons of milk. And of course, the essential ingredient, golden syrup. So into a little jug, and I'm using this little jug, I'm going to put all my liquid ingredients, which is the 1 egg, which I'm going to beat with a fork. You know, it's a good practice to put your egg in first and beat it, rather than chase that yolk around the liquid ingredients. It's sometimes hard to catch. So give your egg a beat. And to that we are going to add the 2 teaspoons of milk, the bicarb, and 1 tablespoon of golden syrup, and give that a mix all together. Okay, so that's our liquid ingredients ready to add in 1 minute. And we're going to use our hand to rub in the butter and the flour. So we're just trying to make it a nice smushy mixture. You can do this, as I said, in the stand mixer with the paddle, and that'll do it much quicker. Okay. Some of you may get sore fingers doing this, but just hang in there. It's not a very big job. It's much harder if you're using cold butter. So we're lucky that we're not today. Okay, so mixing it till it's a nice, even mixture, that the crumbs that the butter and the flour make a sort of even size is what we're looking for. Okay, now I need a rest. have a mixture here which has got a really even crumb, okay? There aren't bigger or smaller bits. They're all pretty much the same. And now I'm going to add in my sugar and my spices. And you can use your hand if you like, or you can use a spoon to mix all those in nicely. You just want everything mixed through evenly, okay? So the spices are evenly dispersed throughout. And then I'm going to switch to a spoon in a minute. I'm just getting rid of some of these big lumps of sugar. You know how caster sugar does that from time to time. And I've got a lovely mixture which just looks like that. And now I'm going to take my mixture, give it a stir again, and add it. And take my wooden spoon, and you could do it by hand, but I'm going to use a spoon to mix it and form a biscuit dough. You know I'm going to get my hand in there in a minute, don't you? But a wooden spoon is really good because it's strong and it helps get that mixture together into one nice bit of dough. Yeah. If we keep it in the bowl. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to scrape it off the spoon, and of course now get my hands into it. Now we don't want to overwork this mixture. Firstly there's no need because it's come together so nicely, okay, as it is. So there's our biscuit dough done. It's really a 5-minute thing, as you can see, and if you're a biscuit dough nibbler, as I am, you will enjoy this one. So now we need to make teaspoonfuls and put them onto our tray. And I'm just going to go and wash my hand. Okay, hand washed. So we know that this mixture makes about 40 biscuits. So an easy way to do this is to divide it up roughly into, I like to do it into, let's say, quarters. So we know that a quarter of the mixture, which is that, is going to make 10 biscuits. That just gives you an idea of the size you're looking for. And then I'm going to take a teaspoon and I'm going to put, probably a bit big, 10 teaspoonfuls at a time like this. And you can do this however you like, but this is just the method I have found works for me and just makes it the quickest and the easiest. And you get the most even biscuits sometimes. Sometimes not. So I'm trying to just get 10 out of this. This is a quarter of the mixture, 6. And I'll have to do a little bit of taking from one to add to the other. I can see that. I have not done a good job at all, but it's good enough for today. Okay, I think we'll need to just take a bit from that one. Okay, so that's more or less equal. And now I'm going to get a little bit of flour because I'm going to press a fork in at the end, and I'm going to need to flour the fork, otherwise it sticks. So take your lumps of dough and just gently, we're not pressing it all, roll them into balls, okay? You see it doesn't come off on your hands if you do it really gently. I just find it easier to do it in tens like this rather than one at a time, or all of them, but you could do all of them, but 10 makes it manageable for me. And they're gonna spread a lot, so you need to leave space between them. Trust me on this one, because last time I did them and didn't leave space, they all joined and I had a tray of square biscuits. They tasted good, but they looked mighty odd, okay? And if you're planning to give a bag of these to someone as a gift, I think round biscuits might be nicer than square, but you know what? I don't want to say anything against square biscuits, because maybe that's the new thing. So just leave plenty of space is what I'm saying, okay? So that's 9, and that's 10. And then you take your fork with your flour and you just make an indentation. And that's it. If you do it without flour, it just tends to stick. You can probably get a couple per dip into flour, but otherwise it just sticks and then you're left with a big mess. So that's all we're doing, a little indentation with the fork. I'm going to finish the rest. Okay, so my first tray is finished. It's going to go into the oven for about 40 minutes. I'll see you then. So these have just come out of the oven. I gave them an extra 7 minutes, so total cooking time for me was 47 minutes because they just weren't quite brown enough, and you can check underneath. You want them really deep golden brown. They're soft now, as biscuits always are when they come out of the oven, and I'm going to put them on a wire rack to cool, and in no time they'll be hard and snappy, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Happy cooking. Hope you enjoy these biscuits. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. I will see you next time. Bye for now.